Inserting the blade holder works much the same way as the test pen. After you turn on the machine, press the green button to go offline, then press the left plus button to move the blade carriage over to where it's easier for you to open up the screw and then insert the blade holder. Now, first of all, make sure you've watched my video on setting the blade length, and so you have your blade exposure set to the thickness of your material. Then bring your blade holder down, again touch your material and then lift up a little ways and then close. Now that's not a very scientific way to do it, and actually I recommend you use one of several other methods in order to get really good results and have more consistent results. The first method that some people use are taking like old credit cards. You could also use an old CD, just anything that has about the kind of thickness of a credit card or a gift card. And what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and slide the credit card in, bring the blade holder down until it touches the credit card, lift just a teeny bit, just off so that the blade isn't going to scratch the credit card, and then you can slide it back out. And then that can be your blade height, say for cutting a regular paper. Now for some materials you need a little bit more blade height for that, even though the material is going to be, the material is going to be thicker and you're going to get your credit card in there, you're still going to want a little more force or more distance, because as it drops it'll have more impact in cutting that material. So for example, you may find when you're cutting rhinestone rubber, for example, or some heavily textured cardstocks, you'll actually want to use 2 credit cards. Also for chipboard you may find you need even more, and so you may want to use, say, 3 credit cards. So even though you're already getting the same lift you'd normally get, because the material is a thicker, denser material, it needs more downward impact, and so you might want to use more. The other method that's used are O-rings, and this is the method that I prefer. I cut a lot of these little rings from very thin chipboard, like a cereal box thickness, and then what I do is after I've cut them, I slip them over the bottom part of the blade holder, let's say 2 of them, and then when I insert those into the grip on the machine, those O-rings serve as a spacer to have that blade holder lifted up higher than it normally would be if the rings weren't there. And so the nice thing about that is that's something you can record in your notes. You say, okay, every time I cut paper or I'm cutting vinyl or whatever, I like to use 1 or I like to use 2 rings. For thicker materials you may be using 2 or 3. And again, as you get thicker and thicker materials, or as the material becomes just taller, it's thicker, you may need more O-rings to get that blade up so it's not dragging across your material. So both of those work. And then finally, you can get the O-ring file. If you want to cut the O-rings, you can get that file from my website. And then I'll show you in just a second where to find that file.